Okay, everybody, welcome back to the Lechtech Musar podcast. We continue with the Pele Yoeitz. We're on page 73 in the Art Scroll, day 24 of Hachzik. Today we're going to talk about Zohar Kaddish, learning Zohar, the mystical sefer of the Zohar Kaddish, the esoteric Kabbalistic work that seems to not have too much relevance to day to day, but we're going to find out why it's important and how even though it seems very distant, but not necessarily is Hashem always looking for everything that's learned to be practical, but sometimes he's looking for connection. Limud Sefer Zohar Nizgam Ma'oid Tar L'Kadesh Nefesh. It's very holy, pure, and elevated limud that can purify and sanctify one's neshama. V'afilu milo yada. Even if a person doesn't understand, it makes many errors when interpreting its lessons. It's still very cherished and beloved by the Eibishter because the person, the Maisa, is learning Hashem's precepts, Hashem's Torah. As we know, Istaka Barisa Bar Alma, that Hashem looked into the Torah and He created the world. And therefore, no matter what you're learning, not necessarily is it about the practicality and the relevance, but sometimes it's just about tapping into the Das Elyon, the Das of the Eibishter. So one can ask, what do you mean? But you don't understand what you're saying, you don't know what you're learning, you don't really understand how to make it practical, so what's the point? So Pele Yoeitz gives a beautiful mashal. What can we compare this to? The small child who doesn't know how to speak. This child is babbling, he's gaggling, he doesn't know what he's saying, but the parents, they're elated, they're so excited that he's saying something, that he's on the way to talking. So to HaKadosh Baruch Hu sits and he's delighted when a person possesses an affection for Torah. He wants to learn. Even if he doesn't understand and he doesn't get to the bottom of things and he doesn't have the practical aspect, of course, this is going to make a tremendous reishim in Shemayim, and he's going to get reward. And this is a very important thing to know, that this reminds us, a person doesn't have, there's no such thing as an exemption. A person wants to say, I'm not cut out, I'm not fit, I don't have the kelim, I'm not a bal kishron to learn, I don't have a small zitzfleish. Everyone can do something. And the Pele Yoeitz tells us, you don't have to be born a Talmid Chacham to learn Torah. Hashem wants, Hashem desires, limud Torah every single yid, and says the Pele Yoeitz, something that we can't forget. A person says, I'm not Talmid Chacham, I'm not smart, my IQ is pasha lower. Hashem says, I don't want to hear about that. Why? Do what you can, learn what you can. It's a person who doesn't understand. Okay, so you can't learn Gemara, you can't do Daf Yomi, not even Mishnayos, maybe not even Chumash. But you could sit down and it could be a Tehillim Zog, or he can go through Zohar Kaddish and even understand it. Says the Pele Yoeitz, Chashuv, Umekubal, Umerotze, L'fnei Hashem. It is significant, suitable, and favorable before Kadosh Baruch Hu. And therefore, a person does not have a taina, a person can say, Hashem, you just didn't make me smart. You made, yeah, I can work, I can go out, I can give tzedakah, but to learn, I can't. The Pele Yoeitz says that's not going to be a factor in the next world, in the Olam HaEmes. Now that we've explained in the previous chapters about making his chayvusin, making obligations, different incentives to make oneself learn, and how to stay away from batala, from idleness, Says the Pele Yoeitz, he says that you should take on, since limud of Zohar which is esoteric, yes, but at the same time, it's something that everyone can learn. You can read it, you don't have to necessarily understand that. Obviously, that's better. We're saying Tehillim that everyone should take upon themselves to stay away from Dvar Misurim and idle things, and Batala, take upon himself to say Tehillim, to learn different things. And make it that if you don't do it, you have to rolls over to the next day, to the next week, to the next month. And this way a person can ensure that he's always going to have different anchors to keep him grounded, to keep him connected to the truth, to keep learning Torah. When a person does learn the Zohar, he's going to understand that there are profound secrets and mystical intricacies that are way beyond our understanding. His heart at least will be in pain that he doesn't understand, and that in itself is something important, that we know what we don't know, and we develop this desire, this tshuka, this dream, this ambition to at least we should one day know it, and daven to Hashem, say to Him that we should understand. The point is that whatever a person does do, whatever a person learns, if it's a little, it's a lot. But the main thing is that we should always say Hashem, Yihinoyim Hashem Aleinu. May the pleasantness of Hashem be upon us, that we're learning your Torah, we are applying ourselves to your desire, to your ratzon, and may your sweetness be upon us. And may the utterance of our lips, our learning, the utterance of Torah, it should be accepted in the eyes of the Creator, and this will bring Hashem nachas ruach and ultimately be a zechus for us.